All right. How many of you in the crowd are engineers, or you ever did engineering, or give me a loud cheer, guys. People who've done technical fields. Awesome, awesome. So I'm going to be doing a piece, a poem, which is about people like us who are rebels, who did something else but wanted to do something else in order to follow our hearts. And there's this small thing in spoken word poetry जो हम करते हैं कि if you like a line in what I'm saying in the poem, I will need you guys to snap. All right? So I'm going to see everyone in the crowd to snap with both their hands up in the air. Everyone in the crowd, snap the loudest you can. Awesome, awesome. Come on, guys. In the back, could you snap? Everybody. Awesome. So this is going to be a two-way thing. I'm going to start the piece, and I'm going to need you guys to clap along and snap along. All right? So this piece is called Papa. This is about the time when I was born. I was laying in my mother's arms silently, as if I hadn't peed on the nurse's face just 10 minutes ago. My father then picked me up. He turned my head towards his face. We looked into each other's eyes. He held me tightly in his embrace. He looked at me and said, "Mera beta engineer banega." And that's how the journey of Mera Beta and Papa began. I was 11 years old. And while all other boys went out to play cricket in the evenings, I asked Dad if I could go for painting classes. Because I liked painting and the colors and the empty canvas, which was my world that I could create. But Papa said no. He said, which self-respecting 11-year-old boy chooses painting over cricket? I tried to talk to him, convince him, but I was way too shy back then, and it was about my self-respect now. So I went out with Chintu. Chintu, that one friend we all have when we're young, that really short guy with well-cut hair, wearing the same t-shirt and shorts in the past 1 week, and shoes so old even his grandfather felt young. But it wasn't Chintu who forced me to play cricket. It was Papa, who never let me paint. And whenever he saw crayons in my hands scribbling trees or birds or people, he snatched them away from me and said, "Son, this is not what you're made for." I wondered how Papa already knew what his 11-year-old son was made for. His 11-year-old son who wore the same underwear for 3 days without telling anyone. But Papa knew what I was made for. And I loved Papa. And I trusted him. So when I turned 14, he made me join these really expensive coaching classes. He told me they will teach me everything I love and will give my life a direction. They taught me physics, maths, biology, and chemistry. As a 14-year-old, all I could make of physics, maths, biology, chemistry was PMBC. Papa must be correct. So without any fight, I took it on with my might. And everything now looked white and black. The artist in me had died long back. I hadn't touched crayons, nor had I dipped both my hands in paint in a very long time. But I was 14. And I liked a girl. And this love was burning new and fresh like the morning flowers. So as a good son, I went up to Dad. And I told him about us two lovers. A tight slap on my left cheek. The love felt stronger, but I went weak. And I asked Dad what the problem was, because love is such a noble cause. And yes, although our love did have flaws, why did he want us to pause? And I told him that, Dad, you yourself are married and you have a wife. So what's the issue if I have a girl in my life? Another slap now unexpected hit my right cheek. I was 16 and my 10th boards had just ended. And throughout 10th grade, while I slogged to make it through with flying colors, as they call it in my coaching classes, a decent 92% got me through. And my dad remarked that with 92%, nobody will really know you. And that you could have done better, but you did not try. And now that it's done, no one will ask why. I still remember that face of his. It still makes me cry. He saw my mark sheet, turned away and left. It was a disappointed goodbye. It was time to decide which stream I had to take. It was 7 in the morning. I waited for Dad to be awake. He wakes up, walks up to me, takes the admission paper from my hand, sits on the sofa right across the hall. He puts his feet on the land. There is a look in his eyes which says, "Son, what is taking you so long in deciding?" Well, I'm looking down at the carpet, keeping him oblivious of the decision that I've been hiding. I didn't have the courage to tell Papa that his son won't be able to pursue engineering, because all this while there was a mask I had been wearing. I look up to speak to Papa, but he's already written science. I wish I had thought this through. I wish I had prepared a few lines, and then I start speaking. I say, "Papa, Papa, listen to me, Papa. I can't do science. I like poetry and art, Papa, and I've been living a lie all this while, and I need to go this extra mile and tell you how I feel, because without your support, Papa, I will not be able to heal." He looks at me as if my life were a movie and this were the plot twist. He held me by my wrist and handed me a physics book and said, "Look, son, I really love you, but my decision is final. I'm not changing it, sorry." So as I'm doing engineering right now, as my dad wanted me to, there's no way out for me, of course. Maybe he was right back in the day when he said, "This is what I was made for." And you all must be thinking, what a cruel father I have, who's been forcing himself on me since my birth. But the truth is, he isn't my biological father. And this isn't even my story. This could be anyone's story. This could be your 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 story. This could be all of our stories. Papa, here is the common father we all have. Papa, here is society. Papa, here is all those distant relatives and aunties and uncles who never gave a jack about you, but told you who you were and what you're made for. Because Papa does not want his son to paint, although Papa himself is no saint. And Papa can't see his son go against his values, because Papa knows exactly what's best for you. But if every child was made for the same thing, Father, then why don't the schools and colleges have just one stream rather? And don't get me started on Papa's restrictions on his daughters. There's a rule book each and every daughter of his has to follow, and those who don't aren't accepted as a part of the family anymore. But if our conservative society is the father, then progressive thinking is the mother. But in the patriarchy we live in, Papa never lets mom speak. And there is no space for progress or thinking, because the children's eyes have been blinking and Papa isn't ready to evolve. And here's the man we've got to solve, because if the kids aren't allowed to be who they are, we'll all be left back so far. And let them follow their passion, because that is one thing that will never go out of fashion. And there's a very bright future ahead, a future that I can see. But for that to become reality, Papa, you need to set your children free.